the smell hits your nose sensors like, how you doing? I'm doing wonderful. How are you? Yes. Yes, all of that comes with it, okay? So they creep up on you, they hit you with their charm. Hey beautiful, how you doing? How you want it? You look amazing. Like has anybody told you, how beautiful you are? Like it's I mean, it's just so insane how easy it is for them to put on the charm and lure you into their web of deception, because it's all a facade, it's all a mask. They just put on a mask because narcissists, they have to wear this mask because behind the mask is a very insecure, broken, damaged, unhealthy human being. And is at this point it's really hard for me to call them human. I just feel like you're just beings, because the way that you use and abuse other actual human beings is just very inhumane. How can you call yourself human when you do inhumane things to other human beings? Like it just can't be considered a human to me. I'm sorry. That's just my personal opinion. That's how I feel. So they come up, they love bomb you, they hit you with all the charm and everything like that, and shower you with all of these compliments and all of these things that's going to make you feel like you're just everything, like put you on a pedestal and make you feel like you are everything to them. You are everything I've been looking for, everything that I want. So come here, let's be together. And then they get you, and then they have an agenda. I need you to be a source of supply to me some way, somehow. So some of them, okay, you are attractive, you are beautiful, so they want you as arm candy. So they want to take you around and show you off to everybody. My narc wasn't about that for him. The supply for him was sex. So what's up? You gonna give me some? And because I, wasn't doing that, I got put on the shelf. But I'm still like a challenge. I'm still, somebody that he wanted that he didn't get. And this is somebody who's used to getting whoever he wants. So it was like, oh, I'm going to definitely be back for you. And so he did, every time and time again. So got me with the love bombing, right? The next phase of the trauma bond is for them to either have you trust and depend on them in some way, shape, or form. And I think with my narc, like in the beginning, where like I was a child still, so I still solely depended on my parents. I didn't need him for anything. So the way that he kept me on the hook was the words. It was just the things that he said and how he said it and how he would do it, how he would finesse it. He actually used to use that word a lot, like, yeah, you gotta have some finesse. You don't have no finesse, Shakira. You gotta have some finesse, is what he would say. And so I think he mastered the art of finessing. So I would be at his house all the time, and like I said, his dad loved me, so I feel like, he kind of was like a counterpart. He took part in his love bombing and me, wanting to always be around him or in his company, in his space. Every time my phone rang, I wished it was him. I would run to the phone like, is it him? Hello, hello? Hoping that it was him, because that's how, the feelings that he gave me, that's how it made me feel so good that I just wanted to keep feeling those good feelings all the time. And then you think about, I'm coming from a broken home. My mom and dad just got divorced, so she was crying all the time. And my dad had moved on and ended up with a new wife 13 years younger. And that messed my mom up, like, oh my, are you serious type time? It's really like emotion that you go through. And I can actually speak from experience now, being divorced. I went through that same phase. But, so I'm going through all of that at home. So it wasn't that comfortable there. I'm staying at my grandmother's house. Nope. Remember, my father I didn't meet till I was 15. My biological father. And just like my grandfather pulled the shotgun out on my narc, who is my ex-husband, he did the same thing to my father when my mom was sleeping with my father at the tender age of 15 and my dad was 18. So it was like, don't you ever come around. And I think my dad actually physically, I can think my dad sucker punched. That's how they told me the story as a kid. Yeah, your dad sucker punched your grandpa, and he went to go back in to get the gun, but my dad was going by then like, fool, you think I'm gonna wait around for you to come shoot me? Nah. But he made it his business, of course, to not ever show up back at that house. That's for sure. So my grandfather hated his guts. It was like he got a one up on him, and he never got to get his lick back. My grandpa never got to get his lick back, so it was like, if I ever see him again, it's curtains. So, yeah, my dad made it his business to not ever, show up or be around him at all. And, being as though I look just like him. And not only did my mom have me so young, my mom had a very good bond with my grandfather. Like, she got to experience going to baseball games and football games, basketball games and stuff like that. My grandfather took my mom to these different things. But once she got pregnant, my grandfather was disgusted by her. It was just like, are you serious? Like, you allowed yourself to get pregnant by this fool? And then he sucker punched me and I ain't get to get my lick back and all of this and that. So by the time I came out, he didn't like me. My grandfather did not like me. So now that my mom has divorced my dad, my stepdad, the one who took care of me, and we are now moved back in his house, it was like he talked about he just was mean to me all the time. So I got my mom crying her face off. I got my grandfather slicing me down with his words every chance he got, because I look just like this man that he didn't get to, get his lick back on. And it just was not a happy-go-lucky, comfortable environment. So now I have this boy over here who's just showering me with all these pleasant words and making me feel all good. And now we having sex, so the sex feels amazing. And I want to be over there. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and head over there. And like I said in the first episode, me pretty much telling him everything there was to know about my life, it was easy for him to soak that up and know that, oh yeah, she don't want to be over there. I definitely can keep her over here with me, because she don't even want to be over there. It's messed up over there. Your family jacked up. Ugh. You know what I'm saying? So it was just easy for him to have me, eating out the palm of his hand. So, coming from that type of background, it made me, what I believe now, knowing what I know now, the perfect target for a narcissist. I was bred in a way that it's almost like I got a flashing sign on my forehead, like, come over here and narcissistically abuse me. You know what I mean? I'll give you the best source of supply that you've ever had. The way I stroke an ego, baby, you will love me. And did. I remember him saying something like, I feel like you got a curse or a spell on me or something. Like I don't know. I just can't get enough of you. And of course, the way that elates you and boosts, because we all have egos, right? The way that boosts your ego, like, really? Who, me? Like, little old me? Like, I do that for you? You feel like I got a spell on you? When in reality, he was the one that had the spell on me. And even using those words were a form of gaslighting. Girl, bye. I got you exactly where I want you. So I'm going to tell you whatever I think you want to hear that's going to make you feel great and amazing, so you can keep coming back and keep giving me that awesome source of supply. So that's absolutely what happened, and exactly how it went down. It was just that easy. So you figure 15, 16, took my virginity. He ended up going to night school and got his GED. I graduated high school. Now I'm 18. He's 20. And, now it's time for me to drive. Now I'm going to go and learn how to drive. And upon my narcissist research, one of the 6 early signs of a narcissist is their driving habits, how they drive. And he wasn't like a reckless driver. He didn't drive like, crazy, like too much like that. But behind the wheel, and if like for example, somebody would be driving in front of him, if they were driving too slow, or they put on a turn signal but didn't turn, or just was not abiding by the rules of the road, and it would irritate him to the 10th power. And I didn't see it as a red flag then, although it still was an eyebrow raiser, and like, dang, like, why you keep, like, you gotta chill. Because he would be like, I bet you it's a bitch. I bet you it's a B behind the wheel. I bet you it is. And I would be so mad when we would, because now that's the most reckless he would get. If he could, he would go around them. If he had a way around them or get out of my way, then he would try to do that. And then if we was able to ride by and see it was a female, the way it would not only boost his ego, but then kind of shatter mine, like, dang, why she had to be a girl? Like, why you had to be a female? Just like why are we horrible drivers? But I didn't zoom in on the fact that, you always felt like, oh, it's a B. And then the fact that that's what you called us, the MOB, money over bitches. That's how you see us. We're not women. We're not queens. We're not, somebody that you value, or, we're just bitchs. That's it. That's all. And of course, like I said, I didn't see that at that time, but he did. He was one of the people that helped me drive. And, the other person was an uncle of mine. And I now found out that he is 100% a narcissist as well. The way that this man has broken my family member down to the finest matter with his narcissism is just diabolical. Like, I pray that I can actually get her on here to tell her story and see her, put life back inside of her body, inside her soul, because he has literally sucked her life force out. But he was the other person that taught me how to drive. And between them two, yeah, I drive like a whole, as they say, nigga. I don't like to use the word too much. Like, I'm just getting away from all of these derogatory terms that perpetuates this generational cycle of negative talk and abuse, which is why I started off this episode with words of affirmations. I want to pour into my listeners. I want y'all to know that y'all are loved and cared for. You are not dumb or stupid. You are not a bitch. You are not a nigga. You are not none of these derogatory terms that we've heard, especially us millennials and Gen X's as we came up. That's what we were called, all of these names. So we embody, what those characteristics that come with those names. You know what I mean? Yeah, I am a B, y'all. And who gonna check me? You know what I mean? Or yeah, I'm a nigga, but I'm that nigga. No. But that's how I drive. I drive with one hand, and not even knowing that driving just with the one hand, a car weighs upwards of 3 tons. Even though it's on wheels and the steering wheel allows it to go smooth, you are still handling a machine with one hand. When I tell y'all I got this pain in my back, I don't think it'll ever, go away. Because this is how I drive, with one hand, one leg cocked up, and like, get out my way, be real aggressive, get out my way, you know what I mean? What are you doing? Why are you sitting here? What the heck? My uncle would actually, like, we would go to like Donny Park and amusement parks, wherever we would go as a family, and he would be the lead driver, and then it would be like, y'all better keep up. And what to us, because he told me, my cousin, like everybody, how to drive, and we would be on his tail, like, what? You ain't say nothing but a word. He would be weaving in and out of traffic, and we would be right there with him, keeping right on up, okay? And that's how we drove. But back to the narc. The disrespect of women, how he drove, it definitely was a telltale sign, but it's something that I can look back on in hindsight and see, like, dang, you know what I mean? It just wasn't right. But I ain't know no better. This is what I'm used to. My uncle told me how to drive. Here he go. It's more of, what I've gotten throughout my life already. So there's a sense of normalcy there. Hence, perfect target for the narc, because it's not, none of his behaviors came off as that abnormal to me, because I've seen or witnessed it some way, somehow throughout my life, throughout my family. Before I met him at the tender age of 14, say around 10, 11, 12, I would be walking down the street from school, to and from school, because this same uncle would, abuse my aunt, and she would be, black eyes, all kind of stuff. And, I would leave her house, because at this point, this is back then, my mom and dad were still together. And my mom, was a little, she committed some infidelity throughout the marriage. And there would be a parting of ways where she would pack us up and we would leave, but we would go stay with my aunt. And in my aunt's house, there's, the abuse of her, my uncle abusing her, whether verbally, physically, whatever the case. And now I gotta put on my book bag and go to school with a smile. I'm supposed to go to school geez, life is great and everything is okay, and no worries. No, I didn't know how to do that. I was completely depressed. I was completely and utterly depressed, and I would walk to and from school literally with my head down low, it hung down to the ground. I didn't sit with my shoulders back or my head held high. I didn't even know how to do that. It was a slump and it was a head down. Why me? Why my life? I would be in school just blanked out, looking up at the ceiling why? Why, God? Why my life? Why my mom? Why my aunt and uncle? Why my grandma? Why me? And, just having that type of energy and living in that type of a slump. And then it just made it that much easier for the first boy that, wanted to be in my face to just get me and keep me for 2 decades. Literally for 2 decades. Played with me like a yo-yo. I was a toy. And so it was just okay, this is normal. The way he is it's a sense of normalcy here. And when it's normal, it's like a comfort there. So when you feel comfortable, why would you change it? Once he because now I had our firstborn, he brought me to STDs. And then, he had the baby on me a year and a half later. So now I'm about 20. He's 22. And, now I'm feeling okay, this is wrong. This is bad. He bringing you STDs. He having babies on you. He talking about committing suicide. Run for the hills. But I didn't know how or where to go or what to do. So let's do the therapy thing. And the therapy thing did not work out at all, to the point the therapist was baby, why are you here? Why are you still dealing with this man? This boy, because he's 22, but he wasn't you can't call yourself a man because you weren't acting like one. So it was don't you want to can I just talk to you one-on-one and just try to, help you out? And she said that, and I want to say I went to 1 or 2 therapy sessions on a solo, and then after that I just stopped going. Why? Because the narc had me wrapped up in his orbit. He was just no, I don't think he ever blatantly said no, you're not going, but he would find something else for us to do so that I couldn't make it for whatever reason. Until eventually I just fell out of the want or the habit of going. Oh, okay, all right, well, I'll go next time, until I just wasn't going no more. Now it's they done dropped me, so now I got to start all over again with the whole intake and all of that, and that felt daunting. And then it was can you actually help me? Because it didn't seem like you could, but the reality is we can't help that person you brought in here to with you. That is a toxic person that is not good for you, and you need to run for the hills. But as a therapist, they can't tell you that. They cannot say, Shakira, this is not good, this is not healthy. But if I would have stuck around long enough, eventually what the therapist does is they ask you questions for you to answer your own questions. I'm gonna ask you, so what do you think? How do you feel about how he treats you? Do you like the way it feel? So how do you feel so if you don't like the way it feel, is it something you want to keep feeling? And they kind of walk you into making your own decision of no, I don't want to feel like that. No, that's unhealthy. I don't want that. This got to change. Something got to give, because this ain't it. This is so unhealthy. And I think probably by 20, that, I started, that eggshell feeling was very present. I didn't want to say anything to piss him off, because if I did, he wouldn't talk to me for like 2 or 3 days. 2 or 3 days, he would just be silent. So complete and utter silent treatment. Like, who is she talking to? Why is she talking? Because I know she's not talking to me. Because what? You know what I mean? This boy used to take my skirts, because I would wear skirts. He stopped me from wearing skirts because he would take them and tear them up and then throw them up on the rooftop. Yo, I can't make this stuff up. I cannot make it up. When I was 14, I was still wearing pigtails. He told me, yo, you making me look like a pedophile. What are you, 2? What are you, 5? Take them pigtails out your head. Literally straight like that. Like, and I would be appalled, like, what? But at 16, he already had like a beard and a little mustache coming in. Like, he gained facial hair early. So me, this little bubbly little, girl walking down the street, with pigtails in, wasn't a good look for him. He didn't like that. He wanted me to grow up sooner. So of course that's what I did. Pigtails, gone, done up. Not wearing those anymore. Skirts for what? I started wearing back then it was called knickerbockers. They were knickers. So they were pants that came down to like maybe your calf. Because shorts wasn't really that they were skating on thin ice with the shorts, depending on how long or short they was. So I just met them in the middle with the knickers. If it's summertime, like it's hot, I don't want to put on pants. I don't want to put on jeans. I hated jeans. So to this day, I don't really like wearing jeans. So that was the middle ground that I gave myself. I'm gonna wear knickers, and I guess it worked for him because that's what it was. So yeah, it was like, change your hair, change your dress, change your speech, change you. You're going to be who I want you to be. You're going to be how I need you to be in order to compliment me and stand next to me. And that's literally what it was. So now we are, what did I say? 20 and 22. I finally got my driver's license, and then they were going to deport him because he was not born and raised in this state, in this country. And now his mother is on my line, and she's like, they're trying to deport him. You have to marry him in order for him to not get deported. And you got this little baby, and I know you don't want to be a single mom. I know you don't want to raise that child on your own or without their father. So you have to do this. And at first it was like, absolutely not. Are you mad? This man treats me like crap. Like poop on a stick is how he treats me. You keep cheating on me. You keep bringing me back diseases. And then you just got excuse after excuse and reason after reason. The gaslighting and the manipulation just continued on because all he had to do was say the right stuff, or and I would just be like putty in his hands and be right back like I never left. So she worked on me. Because at the end of the day, as their parents, it was their job to make sure he was a citizen of the United States of America. And the ball was dropped because his father rolled out on the whole family when he was 8 years old. So now here he is at 22, and the government is like, he's not a citizen. He's not a legal alien. The student visa done expired. And unless y'all do something here, he gonna have to get on up out of here. So that was the stipulation. So she worked on me and worked on me and worked on me until I folded. I'm going to end this episode here, and I'll tell you all about how we got married and that whole process in the next episode. I want to thank everyone for watching and listening, and I'll see you all next time. Have a wonderful, blessed day.